What's Earl the Pearl in the house? Hit that MF and like button, guys and girls. Well, I'll just assume it's guys. I know it. I know the deal. I know the deal. How about that Joe Biden press conference? Yowza. That was pretty rough to watch. Pretty rough to watch. What up? Doom, Colt C, Dr. Chow, Sour Milk, ACDC, Queen on. We got the late night freakers in here. Oh, thank you, Sour Milk. I put up a new trailer for my comedy special that's coming soon, babies. Coming soon. I'm paying for it by myself, so I'm not hitting my fans up for money like others. Oh, okay. I don't ever since Ski Mask started showing picture of his balls, I I'm out of the ski mask business. Thank you, Dr. Chow. Uh this might be a record. Minute 50 in, Boulder Johnny, hot tub Boulder Johnny, $5, man. Let's get this party started. Thank you, Boulder Johnny. Did you kill on stage last night? I'm not gonna lie. I did very well. I did not kill. Um, so, you know, Wednesday night crowd was a long show. We had a Tom Segura pop in, Rory Scovel. I mean, it was a packed lineup, very good lineup. So I don't think many comics could have done as well as I did going on at 12:30 on a Wednesday night. So the OJ did twice that night. Remember, Sunday night is the OJ tour. I'm not sure what time yet. Yeah, man, I don't, sometimes it's just that's really one of the main reasons I want to move, man. It's just there's nothing I can do about the Wi-Fi here. And the buildings are so close together. Like I could basically touch the building that's right there. So when everyone's on their Wi-Fi and shit, it's unavoidable. And fiber optic, which I've looked into, is not an option. And so that's part of being in the Earl Army. You take the good with the bad. The good is we don't do the Dabbleverse in here. The bad is you get the Earl Skakel Wi-Fi system. Seems like you are kind of walking in Brody Stevens' shoes in life. Junior Coltrane. Yeah, I mean, Brody made it definitely later on in life as a comic. I'm kind of following that path to a certain degree. I mean, stand-up comedy is absolutely a young person's game. But here's the beauty of it. And there's definitely ageism in comedy. I mean, I'll be 56 in September. Would you be open to appearing at Ray Palooza if no travel is involved? Yeah, I'm in person only, Dr. Chow, because as you can see, like you guys think a good roast battle can be had uh, online digitally. It can't. You got to be there live. So where is Ray Palooza? Feel free to plug it, Dr. Chow. Um, and if you guys often ask me, how you can help support Earl Skakel. Yes, you can do what Boulder Johnny just did, but you can also share the YouTube link to the special trailer I released today. Gets more eyes on the product. I'd almost rather have that than money. Kate M, the real deal, the first lady of the Earlverse. Um, oh, I didn't listen to MLC today. Uh, well, Junior Coltrane, but they've made it. I would agree with you. You know, got Tom Segura, Rogan, Bert, Gaffigan, but they've all made it. I have not made it. So, um, Stuttering John. I mean, you know, I don't know what experience a Doom Stuttering John has had in the world of stand up. I mean, I don't really consider him a comic. He doesn't do it that much. But there's ageism in Hollywood, uh, and it's worse for women, to be honest with you. I mean, the second you get a wrinkle on your face and you're like, who's that girl who was in Wild Lotus? Not Wild Lotus. What's that show on HBO? Lotus something. Um, what is that show on HBO? My buddy was the bad guy on it. Jake Lacey from I'm Dying Up Here. Lotus, White Lotus, right? Um, no, I don't think it's the Wildlife. That girl, Alice. Oh God, she played Jake Lacey's wife in season one of White Lotus. You know, beautiful. I mean, bucking. No, not Sydney Sweeney. She played the cunty daughter. Uh, but if you remember Jake Lacey from I'm Dying Up Here, she played his wife. But you know, Sydney Sweeney works for this example either. Like Sydney Sweeney right now is the it girl. Look at those tits. She's so young looking. The second she gets a wrinkle, she's gone. Whereas guys can age a little bit more, like you know Sam Elliott and Richard Gere and whatnot. Doom, is there a date for the special? No, we still haven't locked down a place. We're still looking, and it's like Earl, you're still looking, really? But I want the location to be special. I want everything about this to be special. I mean, I've already done more for this special than most specials in terms of 2 trailers, a documentary. Um, so I want this to have people go, "I'm gonna watch this." Um, you're not a doctor, but if you had to diagnose Biden by just looking at him and what would you give him? I mean he's 81. You know, I don't even know if he has a disease or anything. He's 81. Um, you know, it's he's just old, you know, and you know, think about the travel schedule of a president. That would be tough if you were 30. I mean, look at that recent trip he did to Europe where I think it was New York to LA, LA to Chicago, Chicago to Europe. You know, he all around Europe. Now, granted, he doesn't have to wait in line at the airport, but he's flying hundreds of hours on a plane every year, maybe over 1,000 hours. Those Europe trips are brutal. And he's 81. Um, Boulder Johnny, what do you mean YouTube is governing the comments? Uh, I mean, Biden did, but that's the problem. I mean, I don't know if he did well enough, to be honest with you. Um, I mean, I don't know if Trump handled it fine, but like, you know, for an 81-year-old, that's a brutal travel schedule. Um, I mean, if you told me he had Parkinson's, I wouldn't be like, no way. Queen on, or Obama, come on. $1.99. Which president had the biggest hog? I'm gonna go with Obama. But I gotta be honest with you, Donald Trump has really big hands, so, I don't know, but oh, I agree with you, Junior. Isn't let's get real, guys. Biden is mentally not capable, period. I mean, I think he's just, like when he called Kamala Harris Vice President Trump today, like, um, called Zelensky Putin, I don't know if Trump has a 13-incher, but Taft was just fat. Um, Lady Slug, are you new to the stream? Welcome aboard. But Junior, you're right. I mean, Hollywood, like the crazy thing is, let's say this stream got to a huge level. I don't even mean financially, but thousands of people in there. I would get a call from an agency. Hey, how about you do the first YouTube talk show? Something like that. So, um, yeah, you're right. I mean, you don't need Holly. You can make it on your own. I mean, look at Kevin Brennan. You know, he's making 30 grand a month with no agent, no manager. But you need a little help. You need a little help for sure. I mean, just, and for those of you, like, obviously, I would love to get this special on Netflix. Probably most likely going to be YouTube, and you just pay what you want for it. It's the Ari Shaffir style. You could and what was that one? Was it Radiohead? They released their new album. I don't know if it was on YouTube or Spotify. They just said, pay what you want. Some people paid $1. Some people didn't pay at all. Some people paid $100. Super fans were, more. And well, I hope I'm not doing anything Brendan Schaub style. But I mean that the whole point is Kevin is making more money on his own with no agent or manager than he ever did with an agent or a manager. Now, what I would want an agent or a manager for is, like obviously for this special, Netflix isn't probably going to accept a special from some 55-year-old comic with no representation. Well, I mean, listen, but I mean, it's not about the money. I don't really care about having rich fans, but they wouldn't suck. I mean, money's money. We all like money, but that's not the more important thing to me. The more important thing is, let's say there's 18 people in this stream right now. So let's say now you never get 100% of anything, but let's say all 18 of you right now, you took the link of the trailer I released today, part 2, and you put it on Twitter or Instagram. Now I realize I'd be lucky if I got maybe 3 of you to do it, but let's just say now it's 17. Hello. Thousands of people would see that. And it's eyes on the product. I've heard how you would sell Sting. You'll make this happen. I mean, Kate, and you look at Jordan. Look at your man, Jordan. Jordan Lee the Lion, the luckiest man on earth to have Kate M as his wife. But I remember Jordan when he was a struggling actor in LA. Probably had a YouTube channel that didn't have 200 subscribers on it. I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying, he started out with less followers than I have. And now he has close to like 400,000 subscribers, and his videos get 10,000 views first day. So I would love to be on that level. And I'm hitting YouTube from all angles: shorts, 2.5-minute videos, live streams, whatever. I'm just hitting it from all angles. It's the only thing I'm in control of. So you just have to, just plow ahead and, hopefully someone who can help you likes it, and bam. Steve Parley? We can take a hockey question in here. Did you think it was a good move for the Kings to trade Pierre-Luc Dubois? Well, let me say this. I have many friends in, around, or on the LA Kings. And I've asked them all off the record, so I won't say who they are. But you guys know me, I'm not lying. Pierre-Luc Dubois. Liked, unliked, bad guy, good guy. Every single person said he was a good guy. I'm a maniac in the weight room. My friends who are in the LA hockey press corps love him. He never backed down from a question. He never avoided the media. Um, there were some Kings who did not like his, I don't want to say laziness, but his casual style of play. And there's probably stuff that the casual, or not casual, but the general fan like you and me, Steve, will never know. There had to be some other stuff that the Kings were like, "Hey, we're out after 1 year." And and sorry for those of you guys who don't like hockey. This will, but I like to give. Steve asked a question. I got to give him an answer. Um, the special will not be filmed at the Comedy Store. But he was drafted a third overall by Columbus. He didn't last long there, but most people gave him a pass because, well, Tortorella is not a player's coach, especially a young player's coach. I mean, you see the problems Tortorella had this year in Philly with the younger players. He likes the veterans. And then he goes to Winnipeg. Same shit happens. Well, Rick Bowness isn't exactly a player's coach. Rick Bowness will not win any personality awards. So he comes to LA. And, it's not that Todd McClellan is known for being a player's coach, but you don't hear too many bad things about Todd McClellan. So Dubois now had problems with 3 coaches. 3 teams, 3 coaches. And then Jim Hiller comes in. He's a new coach. There seemed to be a bit of a spruce in Dubois' step. And then eventually, in the playoffs, Dubois was the 4th line center. So 4 coaches, 4 problems. So at some point, it's on Dubois. And, it's unfortunate because I think the Kings were looking at him as the heir apparent to Kopitar. I think the Kings for the next 7, 8 years were looking at a nice 3-punch of Dubois, Byfield, Danault, but they're not going to get it. And, I think the miracle was they got Washington to take on the whole contract. I mean, we got a backup goalie for the most part. I mean, it's not a great trade when you consider we gave up Velarde, Iafallo, Kapari, and a 2nd-round pick, I think, from this year's draft. So if you look at it, we traded all those guys plus Dubois for Darcy Kemper. It's not great asset management, to be honest with you. But we'll see what happens. It's done. I don't think the Capitals will be Dubois' last team. So, I guess it was they made the best out of a bad situation. Earl, did you ever watch the Bob Probert documentary? I did. Very sad. You got to start giving away Teslas. I'm not in that tax bracket yet. Yeah. Hello. I'm just saying Rick Bowness wasn't exactly known as like a feel-good type coach. So I think Dubois got a pass, but McClellan is he's known as a player's coach for the most part. So, and Hiller, he's a new coach, so he doesn't really have a track record yet. But at the end of the day against Edmonton, Dubois was the fourth line center. I mean, Blake Lizotte was playing more minutes. That's not a good sign. But Dubois is so good that you look at him, and he was still third on the team in power play goals, and he was getting slop duty, second line, 30 seconds left in the power play. So, it's too bad. He's a great player when he wants to be. I mean, I was at probably his best game as a King against the Seattle Kraken when he was on a line with Steve Moore, and Moore had the hat trick, and all three goals were Dubois uh, had credit for. I think he had the primary assist on all three. So, I hate it when I see someone so talented just piss it away. They say at the Comedy Store late at night when it's quiet, you can hear Brody Stevens' ghost still performing. I mean, I've never experienced that. Um, Kevin B. Pollard, are you new to the stream? Well, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he'll play on a line with Ovechkin and Tom Wilson. So if he can't make it work with those two, and it'll be interesting to see how he plays in the East because the East is much more physical, and he does play better when someone pisses him off. So, hello, good for you, Junior. The energy drink of choice is it's really good. Tastes like grape soda pop. Um, what's your real opinion of Bobby Lee? I mean, he's nice to me. I don't really watch his comedy, to be honest with you. Oh man, I remember Jolt Cola. What was it, like 3 or 4 times the caffeine? Like it was crazy. It, it would be cool if your audience for the special is in on your first, unless you goof on them. I mean, I want it to be special, man. It's not just going to be me up there doing jokes. So, what's the difference between peanuts and nuts? Um, yeah, Trevor Moore was very good this year. But the weird thing was the next game they took Dubois off his line. So it's like, well, wait a minute. They just have great chemistry. We have our first little stream legend in the chat right now. Peter Chicken Man Brennan, $2. Boing. You think DeWitt secretly liked when you farted? 100%. I'm on a few podcasts coming up on my friend Montana's podcast, which I think comes out next week. So look out for that. And I was on, I don't even know the new name of the podcast with O'Neill and DeWitt. It's not the Pork Report anymore, but I was on that yesterday. Obviously, it's out now, I guess. I mean, Bobby Lee's good to me. He always comes up to me, gives me a hug, shakes my hand. Will you repair your relationship with Jeffrey Ross? Um, I mean, it's funny. Last night, one of his friends was trying to get me to do that. I mean, I don't see how that's possible. Um, I just don't see how that's possible because I've heard through the grapevine that he has said something along the lines of, "I'd talk to Earl, but he's got to apologize first." It's like, wait a minute, I'm the guy who got fucked over on 2 TV shows, pulled off the roast of my best friend because you wouldn't have been able to take a few lighthearted, roast jokes about certain things in your life, and I'm going to apologize to you for what? So, probably not. Yes, R.I.P. Shelley Duvall. That's well, I'm stubborn too, though. Like, because the reality is there's nothing he can do to make the situation right. It's not like he can bring back, and I wouldn't even want to do roast battle anymore. If they had season 4 and said, Earl, you could pick anyone you want, I'd be like, I beat Jimmy Carr. It literally got me nothing. So why would I want to do it again? Any talk with the main LA Austin podcast to promote special? Well, I mean, I want to make sure we shoot it, it's in the can, and then I will reach out to everyone: Bert, Tom, Rogan. I know most of those guys, I know them personally, and they hate it when people ask, but I'm pretty well liked in the comedy world. Not even my stand up necessarily, but like, you know, people like me. Whitney Cummings, I said, Whitney, can you help me promote it? Get me on any pot. Santino, hey, can I do Best Friends? I mean, really, I'm not going to lie to you. My favorite Cheval Duvall movie is The Shining. Have you still? No, we still haven't found a location. To be honest with you, Tara, it would help your career a lot if you make up with Jeff. Yeah, but what could he do? Like even on the special, it would probably end up. Let's say me and Jeff make up tomorrow, right? Jeff Ross presents Earl Skagel. Nuh-uh. He ain't getting his meat hooks in my special. But you are right. I mean, the guy knows everybody, to be honest with you. He's juiced in. I mean, he's been a working comic for 30 fucking years. And he's a networker, I mean, you should see him work the room. Um, was she in Suburban Commando? Jesus. Ross Dogs. Give you a side shot. Thoughts on Bob Schimmel? I love Bob Schimmel. I love that, especially he started with hey, I went to the hotel, I called room service and said, where can you get fucked around here? They said, try the gift shop. Hello. Hey, I called for turn down service. The guy said, I'd never come up to your room ever. No, I mean, I haven't seen Popeye in quite a while. So, but The Shining is awesome. Like you might even be on Future Roast. Well, I have to be a bigger comic, to be honest with you. I mean, even if me and Jeff were best friends, let's say me and Jeff were best friends, and the roast of Tom Brady comes around, who would I have replaced on that show? I mean, Sam J maybe, but like she's a big deal. So I get, even though she wasn't a good roaster, and that's not her fault, they're not going to pick me, but I'd be good on it. Jeff is so nothing these days. He can help anyone anymore. All his connections are moved away or aged out. I don't know, bro. He's juiced in. Like, he's protected. Well, you could probably cut off a lot of minutes from every movie. Can I do a quick? What are you, Leslie Jones, Doug? Hello. I was not a huge Robin Williams fan, to be honest with you. I know that's crazy to say that to comedy fans, but it just I was not a big fan. I haven't seen Suburban Commando in quite a minute. Excuse me. This is non-carbonated. Yeah, I mean, I liked him in that one movie. What was the movie where he's a school teacher? AC/DC, $4.99. You guys are active in the super chats tonight. Earl, better scene, wildlife, Eileen naked or Phoebe Cates in Fast Times naked. Either seat, I'd be in the bathroom like Judge Reinhold. That's a tough one. I mean, I was in love with. Yes, you're right, Colt C. Thank you. With Jenny Wright in The Wildlife, man. I mean, that's just, and it's not necessarily pretty, but just a little combo of pretty and cute. But Phoebe Cates, I mean, that's probably the Wayne Gretzky of naked, booby scenes. But Jenny Wright, and then obviously you guys saw her on the Inappropriate Earl podcast. Fuck, man, it sucks when people age. Favorite Madonna song, Dress You Up, because I love the guitar solo. It's like an 80s metal guitar solo in a pop song. Luna Shtick, what up? What up? How the shit we got 30 people in here and only 14 likes. Have some respect for yourselves. Like, you know what? I can't disagree with you. her body was amazing. I mean, both of their bodies. I mean, Phoebe Cates and Jenny Wright. Jeff resents you for his thumbnail on your podcast. I mean, dude, it's the best picture I could find of him, to be frank. And he did call me afterwards and be like, dude, you could have used a better picture. I'm like, bro, come on. You think if Netflix is a Neil roast, they'll ask you or KB? I've heard they're in talks. I mean, I have a better chance than Kevin, no doubt about that. Earl, how do you get through the week without daily booty? I mean, you beat off, it's just as good. That is my real ass, pots and pans. Thank you very much. Did you say some of your friends like Tony had to choose sides and choose Jeff just because of his juice? Well, I could get on Kill Tony tomorrow. I could just call Tony and say, hey, can I come on? Me and Tony are cool. I mean, I've had some friends of mine who get writing gigs from Jeff, and I could just tell they're uncomfortable talking to me because they don't want to lose out on their next writing gig. It's like, really? I mean, you're getting some shit, low level, non union writing gig, and that's worth a friendship. All right, see, I wouldn't want to be friends with you anyway if that's who you are. But I'm cool with people who are friends with Jeff. Like the person last night who was talking to me about mending the fence. I'm like, it's probably never going to happen, but you can be friends with him. Just don't bring his name up to me. You know, and I've told that to many people. I mean, everyone's tried to get me to be friendly with him again. And it's just like, you guys get writing gigs from him. So I get why you like him. I don't want anything from him. I really don't. So he, I think that's part of the problem is he doesn't have that nugget he could dangle in front of me. Lois's mom told me the best saying, Gail, want nothing, need nothing. And when you're in that mindset, it's awesome. So, I don't want writing gigs. I want to perform. So, it's what it is. What's your take on Mariah? I love that, Steve. I've never heard anything say, wow, Jeff Ross. I mean, listen, he's a working comic for 30 years. So, you can't say he's not funny, but, no, if you're not funny, you don't work for 30 years. Eddie Van Halen's one Beat It was brilliant, and he did it for free. Yeah, I mean, he probably was just fucking around and did it. Earl, what's your take on I thought that was an awesome heel turn last night. I didn't see it coming, and I'm amazed at Tony Storm letting her cut her like that. I mean, that was brutal. I mean, it instantly got Mariah over. And I'm not saying she wasn't over, but now she's over. Like now I could see her against Mercedes Moné at some point. Like she's in the discussion for feuds. Whereas before last night, she wasn't. Earl, do you have fuck you money? If I did, I wouldn't be doing these streams. Now, some people might say, well, you don't care if you make money in the streams because you've got fuck you money. I've got enough money to go to the supermarket and buy a sandwich, but I'm not Russell Peters. My car's a lease. Some people can't live by virtue. They can't afford it. Cut them some slack. I mean, my really only rule is, listen, you can be friends with someone I don't like. Just don't bring them up to me. Writing gigs are so yesterday now that AI is writing scripts and jokes. Well, I don't know if I agree with you on that. Most comics secretly dislike each other? Probably, to be honest with you. Maria Carey has huge jugs. Mariah Carey? Oh, Maria. Leasing is a smart man's play. Well, I don't drive a lot, so leasing is smart. Colt C, $4.99. A little FU money. Thank you, my friend. Um, hey, some houses have popped up on the market in the 1.5s in the 046 region. I have not. Would you bone Nicole Amy? Nice ass. I mean, we're friends, so she's actually been in my swimming pool with her friend, who I ended up porking. Hello. I always enjoyed your story about seeing Robert Forster sitting at a diner in L.A. Yeah, he used to. What was it called? It's on West Hollywood, one block before Crescent Heights on Santa Monica Boulevard, and he ate there every day reading scripts. He must have lived around that neighborhood. And when I saw him, the season one wrap party for I'm Dying Up Here was at Cantor's Deli. Yeah, Cantor's Deli. And we walked in together, and we didn't have any scenes together. But I'm like, "Hey, Mr. Forster, I'm in the show too, and I just want to say I loved you in Delta Force." He got a big kick out of that. Very cool guy. I saw him at 7-Eleven a few times, the local 7-Eleven. He's like, "What do you do, son?" The son that's we're like probably the same age. I'm a comic, and he was like interested. Like he wasn't just like blowing me off. So it's we lost a good one with Robert Forster, that's for sure. Um, Earl, you ever had run-ins in LA with Nikki Sixx? I've never. Well, I mean, I've been to Motley Crue a few times. Uh, I heard Todd Glass is now working at Burger King. Probably not. I mean, he's. I don't know if he's good with his money or not, but I'm sure he has a few dollars left over, and he could headline pretty much any club in the country still. So, um, I can't confirm or deny that story, to be honest with you. Now's a good time to thank the tippers, the fan funders, Boulder Johnny, Queenon, the legend of Peter Chicken Man Brennan, Ross Dogs, ACDC 5150, and Colt C. Thank you, kids, very much. Who knows? This may be paying for the special this stream tonight. So, and don't forget, Sunday is the Orenthal James Simpson live stream. Well, listen, you can live a fat life in Wyoming. Isn't that where Eric Bischoff lives now? I mean, you could buy a farm in Wyoming or Montana, the Dakotas for a couple $100,000 and live in a fucking mansion, basically. So, Tommy Lee was at the Comedy Store the other night, so that was interesting. Do you think MJF wins in Wembley over Ospreay? That's a tough one because it is Ospreay's home country. And I don't, it's going to be interesting to see. To me, you've got basically four guys who could be champion. Obviously, Strickland, MJF, Ospreay, and Okada. I'm sure Ospreay and Okada didn't sign into AEW to like win low-level titles. So, it's you could do an extended. The easy thing is to have Ospreay win in London. It'd be a huge pop, but maybe MJF brings back Wardlow, and they've butchered Wardlow again. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think if Omega's healthy, you could tell they're teasing an Omega return, and they've lately started blurring his face out in the Young Bucks promos. You could tell they're gearing up for Omega Okada. So, London could be good. Pots and Pants 1.5, Earl, getting gear, son. Send in the Delta Force. What time is the OJ stream? I'm not sure. Probably around 7 p.m. It might be better later just because I can drive around a little easier. I will be I'm not doing this with a friend of mine, so I've got to drive. I've got to look at the stream. So patience, my babies. Oh, that's cool, Cold C. Yeah, the COVID did absolutely hurt some comics' careers. They just kind of, they didn't perform for. I mean, I went from performing pre-COVID, like 2017. I was performing 4 to 7 times a week, and during the height of COVID, I think I performed 2 times in a year. Like that's unheard of for me. Um, but I was in it to win it. Some comics my age or older were just like, fuck it. ACDC 5150 $1.99. Did Tommy Lee's third leg need a second table? Probably. Now he left. Right before I went on, and also in the club that night was John Travolta. So the club was bumping that night. If Ricochet signs with AEW, put him with Ospreay and MJF face another champ. No, I mean MJF's the main heavyweight champ guy. I don't think you want him fighting Okada for like the international thing. Although Strickland and Okada, I'm looking forward to that because people, I think in America, you kind of forget how good Okada is, and him and Strickland's going to be a good one. Be interesting to see what they do with Hangman, um, but AEW does do good pay-per-views, and if Omega comes back and then Jamie Hayter comes back, Ricochet's tough because he's horrible on the mic. He's like Mercedes Moné. He's great in the ring. I mean, he's great in the ring. But I don't think you would make him a champion. So I don't know if, like, him and Ospreay would have a great match. There's no denying it'd be 5 stars. But like, what's the payoff? You can't have Ricochet go over. And so then after that initial match with Ospreay, what do you do with him? Because very few guys can wrestle with him. So I mean, Ricochet and Okada would be great, but he would be basically a high-end jobber in AEW, and I don't know if he wants that. Um, hey, I'm not good with all this free association. Don't worry about it, pots and pans. It hurt. Boom. It's actually boom shakalaka. I heard Bushman did not do well during. Yeah, Bush. A T-Gun 25. Not sure what that means. Travolta's ball. Yeah, but it looks good on him. Travolta's best performance was Broken Arrow. That's a good movie. Peter Chicken Man Brennan. COVID slowed down George Perez's momentum. He's still doing pretty good. The Jeff Jarrett promos with the Owen Cup tourney was great. Glad he was a part of the finish as a special enforcer. But he should have won because he was the only connection to Owen. Yeah, I mean, I would have absolutely, have him win this last Owen Hart tournament, and then he kind of rides off into the booking committee. I mean, he was the guy who wrestled right after Owen Hart died, and they were best friends. And the fucking guy, I think they tell the story when he stepped in the corner where Owen died. There was Owen's blood was still in the ring. And that's Vince McMahon. Get your ass out there. We ain't stopping this card. We ain't giving refunds because someone died. What did you do to deserve to have all this public service? I'm a soldier. I'm a comedy soldier, pots and pans. Who has more hair left? Piven, barely. No. And no, I won't be mending the fences with Jeremy Piven. Get out of town with that stuff. I was watching live when that happened. What, me and Piven? I was told to go up there. And then Jeff calls me an hour later. Why'd you bully him so much? I'm like, that's what roast battle is. Bullying. Wasn't Rick Ingram in the KC event? Yeah, Rick Ingram was there. I was playing hockey at the time, and I remember it was in between periods, and we had the radio on, and it was 980 KNX, I think it was the news station in LA. They're all religious channels now. And I think that they were breaking news. Wrestler Owen Hart died in the ring tonight. And even though it was on a legitimate news channel, you still didn't know if it was an angle. Vince McMahon is out of control, man. then makes them wear it for an hour. Yeah, 100%, William. I mean, Vince. I mean, who I've been in a lot of freaky sexual situations. I'm not gonna lie about that. I mean, I've lived a full life. I've never once looked at a buddy and go, "Hey, let's shit on her head and not have her not clean it off for an hour. I'm trying to blow it out." I mean, there are some freaks out there. I'm pretty vanilla in that area, if you know what I'm saying. Um, I don't know about y'all, but I find that gross. Yeah, I mean, as Melton and Kevin Brennan would say, hundo percent there. See, I give credit to people when I use one of their lines. Um, do a lot of wrestlers cheat on their spouses when on the road? I mean, probably. I mean, I went to Bakersfield to watch AEW Dynamite, and the women, even in Bakersfield, you could tell they wanted to fuck a wrestler, like any wrestler. What up, Kip Seven? Vince watches monkey throw shit at the zoo and says to himself, "I can do better than that." Probably. We don't do the Dabbleverse stuff in here, Michael Ware. No Ray DeVito talk. He's live right now. Go to his stream. Actually, don't go to my competitor's stream. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not competing with anyone in the Dabbleverse, thank God. I mean, if my streams relied on talking about Aaron, Imholt, and Steel Toe and Stuttering John, I would quit the business. Uh, Earl, you and Conrad Thompson need to do a wrestling podcast just based on what you liked over the years. I would love to do a podcast with Thompson because he's like the good guy, and I'm like the bad guy who'll say stuff that he wouldn't. Because he's in like the insurance business for real. I'm not tied to anyone. I mean, even at the comedy store, I'm not technically an employee of the store. I'm an independent. I feel like, what's Shane McMahon up to? I mean, rumors are, he might be talking to AEW to come in, which apparently would mean that he doesn't get along with his sister that well. If you're a guy with any type of success in entertainment, there's several women that will want to bang you. Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I've gotten offers from women that, if I worked at Walmart, I probably wouldn't have gotten them. Worst mistake on Mike Booker T calling Hogan the N-word or Biden calling Kamala VP Trump. I mean, that Booker T mistake is pretty cringeworthy. I think Conrad likes me. I mean, we haven't worked since the Ric Flair roast together, so he doesn't like me that much. But, I would love to be a guest on his podcast, because Bischoff doesn't like AEW and I do. So that would be a good dynamic between the three of us. Um, but I try not to ask being on podcasts, but that would be a podcast that maybe right when the special's coming out, I would message Eric or Conrad. Of course, I'm closer with Eric than I am Conrad, and say, "Hey, man, I'd really love to be on the podcast to plug the special." Coltsy, there are 5 gas station ladies. I mean, there's some hot women at gas stations, especially late night when the nighttime is the right time. Biden and Trump will. I've seen Trump swing. He's not a good golfer. I know good golfers. Like I can just tell. And Biden looks like he wouldn't have the energy to do a backswing. The look on Booker's face after. Well, the funny thing is, if you look at Sherry's face right after, she starts to laugh, but then she tries to hold it in. But uh, I mean, well, since it doesn't really matter if Cena wins or loses, I mean, you're not going to be the Undertaker. He's done. I mean, maybe The Rock. I wouldn't mind seeing Cena and The Rock just fuck around for a couple minutes. Uh, I mean, I laugh when I watch Power Slap, AC/DC. I mean, you talk about CTE. Like people think hockey fights and boxing and MMA, you get CTE, and you do. But at least in a hockey fight or MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, anything really, you are trying to defend yourself from getting hit in the head. Where power slap, it's just a free shot. Like that's CTE. I mean, I would love to do a documentary on guys who are doing power slap, especially the fucking heavyweights. See that? I think he's a Russian heavyweight, or he's from a definitely an Eastern European country. He's like the new man right now, the super heavyweight power slap. He fucking knocked a guy out the other day. I thought he killed him. Um, yes, Holtzman and we should do an inappropriate Earl. Favorite female wrestler uh, right now. I like Mercedes Moné when she's wrestling. When she's on the mic, it's pretty brutal. I like Dr. Britt Baker. I'd pay pay-per-view dollars to watch Trump kicks Biden's ass in golf. Uh, I mean, they both suck. I mean, I would guess Biden would shoot a 90 on the front nine. I mean, he looks physically frail, and Trump is fat, but like he looks like healthy fat, if you can believe that. You need you going on MLC to promote the special? I would. I mean, I would love the Dabbleverse to get behind my special. What do you think of Gene Simmons? It was a horrible album, Dylan. Horrible. I could barely get through it, to be honest with you. I mean, well, Vince Russo loves it though, but he says "bro" too much. Bro, bro, bro. He sounds like the old manager of the Comedy Store, Dean. I mean, I just don't think there's a lot of skill in power slap. Who's your favorite American Gladiator? Malibu. But I was at the same agency. Sportscasting Plus was my first um, agent I ever had in the business. Joe Kokowitz and Malibu and Dan Clark Nitro were also with the agency. Yeah, 100% Eleanor Kerrigan. I don't think Joe could walk 9 holes, to be honest with you. And that's not a knock on him. He's 81. Like, what are you going to do? I met Gene Simmons twice and was at a dinner table with him. He is an asshole. Yeah, but he's honest about it. Like, Gene Simmons is like Kevin Brennan. You might not like Kevin Brennan, but Kevin is who he is. So I think that I appreciate that. They're honest. Gene Simmons is a whore. He loves money and pussy. And he's like, hey, all these grunge bands who sing about how shitty life is, before you kill yourself, send me your publishing checks. That's who he is. He wants the money, honey. But he's honest about it, which I can appreciate. I don't want to give Trump an unfair advantage, but doesn't he drive a McLaren F1? I don't think Trump drives anymore. Anyone that says bro is a jerk off. Well, I mean, bro is one thing, but to say it 35 times. I don't know. I don't know. Rogan hinted he had a change in management at his club. What's the drama there? I don't know. I don't really talk to many people about the mothership. I think someone mentioned something to me about Curtis, but I didn't hear. I don't think he fired Adam. He's not going to fire Adam. Adam and Emily are the two best bookers in the country. You're not firing either one of them. I mean, I've only had good experiences with Gene AC/DC, so I can only comment on those. Earl, do you get lightheaded from all the blood flow to the hog? I do actually. Animal Mother. Animal Mother always comes in on point. There's no wasted bullshit about hockey and Biden and the Dabbleverse. He gets right to the dick, the heat of the matter. I'm not really famous. I'm infamous. Hello. I would agree with you, Queen, on that. Crucial Amazon delivery today. Unopened packs of old baseball cards and big league chew. Damn, I feel like Ray. We don't do the Dabbleverse talking here. Kongzilla. Thank you, though, for the Curtis Nelson. He left in March. See, but that's how much I don't pay attention to, Boulder Johnny. Is the great Tommy Morris making Peter Chicken Man Brennan? Is the great Tommy Morris making his comeback at the mothership? I can guess that is not happening. Are you a fan of the band Europe? I think they're underrated. Great musicians, but I only like the final countdown. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. They did one of the most baller things I think I've ever heard of, is they played some concert recently within the last couple years where they, started off the show. The first song was Final Countdown, and they were like, "Hey, we know you all came to hear that song, so let's get this out of the way." And then they closed with the Final Countdown. I thought that was pretty funny. They probably made more money in that Geico commercial than they did their whole music career. Same thing with Piercy, and, I think he was a Geico commercial too. So good for them. I'm good for these '80s metal bands. They just fucking, you know, it's tough if you're in an '80s metal band to make money in 20 anything a anything after '87. Have you ever met Stallone? He was my neighbor growing up in Bel Air. Danger on the Track is a good song. Oh, I'm sure it is. I just I didn't really get into them. Today was my birthday, and it was mostly gay. LOL. I've had worse days, though. Happy birthday, Kongzilla. I hope that by spending a few minutes in the Earlverse, that it's been a better day for you. First song, third song, last song. I just thought it was funny that. Because when I saw Weezer once, they started the show off with Buddy Holly, and you could tell. Uh, I think Rivers Cuomo said something to the effect of after they let off the show with Buddy Holly. Okay, now we get to play songs we want to. Yeah, I appreciate the honesty there from Rivers Cuomo, who is known to walk around the campus at Harvard with a rat shirt on. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, Kongzilla. You always have been very supportive of me, and I appreciate that. Hit the like button on your way out, and if you guys can share the link to the special trailer I put out today, that would be awesome. That's free. That helps me just as much as a super chat. And thank you for all the super chats. Are you going to see Slayer on these shows this year? Now, Slayer's too hardcore for me. I don't really, you know, I'm not like a giant fan. I'm not a hater. I like the softer metal, Poison, Rat, Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, stuff like that. So, but I was once standing in line at the valet at that House of Blues across the street from the Comedy Store, and I told Kerry King a joke, and he just looked at me. So, I don't think Slayer's a fan of mine either. Who do you like? Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, I probably listen to the Killers more, but I do like me some Weezer. They've got some good B-side songs, and they're metalheads. Like you could tell, like Weezer grew up listening to Rat and Poison. Van Weezer was a total tribute to Van Halen. So, yes, I've seen Def Leppard and Journey many a time. It's always a good show. Gays for MAGA. I think we have someone in the stream. We welcome homosexuals in the stream. I myself like Pussy, hair metal, and Slayer and Cannibal Corpse. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I just. Of course, when I dated one of the managers for Motorhead, I got used to that style of music. But I like the butt rock, cock rock, whatever you want to call it. I've never seen Hagar perform. I saw Van Halen with David Lee Roth. Well, they've got some. I'm trying to think. Summer Girls or something on that White Album. L.A. Girls, L.A. Girls. I don't know the words to be honest with you, but I mean, Kerry King's a great musician. I can always appreciate someone's musicianship. Boulder Johnny, how much for a virtual handy? Me? Oh boy, there's not enough super chat money in the world for that to happen. Boulder Johnny, but I appreciate you asking. You probably go into some of the Dabbleverse streams and get one for pretty cheap. We'll go 5 more minutes, guys. 5 more minutes. Peter Chicken Man Brennan, what's your favorite Holtzman cover when you two podcast together? I mean, we just riff, man. We just get along. A gays for Trump? Well, sure, why not? Hey, listen, a gay fan is a gay fan. Weezer did it. They did do a good cut. Well, you want to hear a better cover that they did, and it's not on any album, but if you go on YouTube, they do an amazing cover of the Poison song "Talk Dirty to Me." I see you on the telephone. I'm only hoping that you're home, but I like it when you say those words to me softly. I forget the words, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm going to see Journey and Def Leppard. I mean, the Rolling Stones are Saturday night at SoFi Stadium. They played last night. I'm interested in going. I've never seen the Rolling Stones. So, what's your favorite Paul Stanley between songs concert quote? It's funny. I was just telling someone, Fred, that today. It's from Detroit, 1988. I think they were just about to sing Rock and Roll All Night. So Eric Carr starts the drums. And then Paul signals for him to stop me. And Paul looks out and goes, there's a girl out there who's on her boyfriend's shoulders right now. And he can't figure out while his arms are soaking wet. The biggest hits I've ever seen. Left one's vanilla, right one's chocolate. She'll give you more milk than a heifer cow. Even Gene is like, what the fuck are you talking about? That stands out the most. Tony Russo, I believe you are new to the stream. See, we're getting some newbies in the stream. I love it. H.W. Prince. Chad's nice to me he's funny, he's likable. That Extreme album was good. Yeah, Extreme's great musicians. I mean, Prime Van Halen's pretty hard to beat. Maybe the greatest frontman of all time. Not the greatest singer, but the greatest frontman, greatest guitar player of all time, and maybe the greatest backing vocalist of all time in Michael Anthony. And, Alex is no schlub on the drums. I don't know if he's the worst frontman in music history. You can't be in a successful band for 50 years and be bad at your job. I think he's perfect for Kiss crowds. Kamala is going to come. Jesus, we have a new person in the stream. They're coming in hot with the gay stuff. Thoughts on the Rolling Stones emblem? We don't do the Dabbleverse in here, Chicken Man. You're on suspension if you ask me one more Dabbleverse related question. This is not MLC. This is not Dr. Chow's show. This is not who are these podcasts? This is a stream of consciousness where we talk about hockey and pussy and gays and stuff like that. Thank you very much, though. Stephen Piercy a week from Saturday. Yeah, fuck yeah, Piercy. It's a good show if you like Rat. Oh, okay. I haven't seen that yet. Kip. Yeah, no, I actually AC/DC. I was at the Porn Awards when David Lee Roth was playing. I was actually there to see them. I wasn't there to see the Porn Awards. And someone was heckling David Lee Roth there, and I forget what song. It was a long time ago. And he stops the song and goes, "Hey, buddy, my girlfriend wanted to give me. He wanted me. My girlfriend wanted me to give you a message from backstage right now." Boom, 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 boom. And then he went right back into the song. Craig Gass has some great stories about. Yeah, Craig Gass is a great impressionist, no doubt about it. Guess what? Biden means it. Thank you, Rhino. Well, you got to pay for that, pots and pans. You just can't, I'm not a monkey bouncing a ball off my nose. Uh, Cinderella, great band. Rest in peace to Jeff LaBar. I met Jeff LaBar when I did a comedy show in Nashville. He was awesome, man. You could tell he was in a good place. And I just by chance, it's one of my favorite comedy memories. I had a Vinnie Vincent Invasion shirt on, OG, like vintage. I get out, I walk out on stage, and there's Mark Slaughter, the second singer from the Vinnie Vincent Invasion. And he just looks at me and goes like this. It was over, Johnny. Craig Gass lived in Eddie Van Halen's guest house for 6 months. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? William Zoom, Michael Anthony used to have a couple Shelbys. You and him have something in common. Boing. Gina Babina, we have both moderators in the house right now. Shout out to Mr. Z for being the only person in the Earlverse history to be banned. Michael Anthony background vocals are the best. Frankie Valli, like, yeah, I mean, he just and a very good bass player. Of course, when you're playing opposite Van Halen, no one's going to really notice your bass playing, but um, that was a great band. And Alex Van Halen, a great drummer, like a great rock drummer. So, um, and and a great producer in Ted Templeman. Like they really, everyone in that crew was great. Um, Great songwriting. And Roth was, he was never a classically trained vocalist, but for that time frame, it worked. Of course, when I saw Van Halen, I think it was in 2012 with Kool and the Gang. And let me tell you something right now. Um, I've been to who knows how many concerts, at least 500. And if you said 1,000, I mean, I've been going to concerts since 1983. So 40 years of my 55 years on Earth, I've been going to concerts. And um, so I've seen a lot of opening acts. And Kool and the Gang was the opening act. I believe it was at Staples Center. I'm pretty sure it was at Staples Center. And I thought this is not going to be good. You've got Kool and the Gang opening up for Van Halen. Apparently, David Lee Roth was a huge Kool and the Gang fan, and the band was like, "We don't want, you want someone who's going to complement your style of music, and hopefully you can pick off some of their younger fans." But apparently, David Lee Roth was insistent that Kool and the Gang be the opening act, and he paid for them. They were like, "Okay, you want them so much, you're paying for them," and he did, and it was probably the best received opening act I've ever seen. I mean, you kind of forget how many good songs Kool and the Gang has. They're kind of like Grand Funk. When I saw Bruce Kulick in Grand Funk Railroad, some state fair, you kind of forget, like, oh, they did that song, they did that song, they did that song. And Kool and the Gang is like the black version of Grand Funk. And the fans were rocking. Celebration, Johanna, I love you. I mean, really. And the Van Halen was great. Although David Lee Roth talking about eating pussy, this is when Wolfie was the bass player. You could tell Eddie Van Halen was like, dude, that's my kid. Yes, Dr. Z got banned. Andy Johns produced Van Halen's "Fuck" album, best sounding album they made. I mean, I like the first couple albums. You could tell they were hungry. Peter Chicken Man Brennan, thoughts on Jim Cornette's beef with Bruce Mitchell and Wade Keller? No more Dabbleverse talk. I'm just fucking around, Peter. I'm not really aware of that beef, to be honest with you. But a lot of people don't like Jim Cornette. Um, he's like Vince Russo. You either love him or you don't. I personally love him. Uh, yeah, it was pretty cool, Dylan. I mean, they went over. That Van Halen crowd was. I mean, the whole arena was dancing, celebration, and I don't know. I think they had like 12 guys on stage, and I think someone told me 3 or 4 were the OGs. So, um, it was a very cool concert. Uh, So Earl loved "Cherished" by Kool and the Gang. Yes. Do you like Primus? I not really, to be honest with you. Um, have you seen Wolfgang's Grays? I did not. Hagar era. Well, I mean, what can you do? I mean, I feel bad for Hagar because David Lee Roth. He wanted to be the star, and he was never going to be the star with the greatest guitar player, arguably of all time, in the band as well. So, and that first David Lee Roth album was great. My friend Maria was in the video for Yankee Rose. She was the one that said, "My doctor has to have a laxative. Not in my store, you don't." That Indian guy was funny. So was the black girl, who kind of had like a Leslie Jones vibe. What was her line in the "Woo honey, an immigrant grocer" or something? I forget her line, but Dave, that's where I got "mama mama" from. David, "mama mama mama." That's where I got it from, William. The Just a Gigolo video. Who loves grass more, Cypress Hill or Lois? Lois loves grass. All right, you kids. Earl Skakel. We've done a nice stream tonight. 26 people in here, 26 likes. I like the numbers. Let me thank my tippers one more time because I do appreciate the fan funders. Boulder Johnny, Queenon, the legend of Peter Chicken Man Brennan, Ross Dogs. Are you related to Tony Dogs from Casino? ACDC 5150, Colt C, and ACDC 5150. I appreciate you guys. Sunday night is the OJ stream. I might do a stream tomorrow night. I am undecided. I'm going to do a dry run tonight of the OJ tour. We're going to start the tour at Bundy, Nicole's residence. I'm going to see if there's a place I can park out there for a few minutes without being noticed. Um, and then we'll, the tricky part will be driving from Bundy to the Rockingham estate. I won't be able to read. I definitely won't be able to read the regular questions, and the super chats while I'm driving are easier to read. So I got a booger in my eye. A big 21. I'm just ending the stream. I apologize for that. Yes, join Earl's Patreon. I really concentrated on my YouTube page, so I have to I should rent a white Bronco just for the last, but I can't have the stream cost me money. Yeah, no, I'm only gonna wear one glove, like Michael Jackson. Detroit by Dark. Who is your biggest partner in comedy? I work alone. I'm like Schwarzenegger. Detroit by Dark. I think we have another new person in the stream. Welcome. Yes, the OJ house is gone, but we can still like hang outside the address. It's all good. It's all good. The juice is lose. He did lose. The DLR skyscraper album may be like the most 80s album ever. Those videos were so good. Especially that video he did. I think it was the album after Skyscraper, A Little Ain't Enough, where the whole video is just him in a gym with all these hot girls with giant tits. What if I had Kato? What if I just picked up Kato? I'd break the internet if I did the OJ tour with Kato, and he'd probably do it too. But then I'd have to cut him in on the super chats. Now I'm sounding like Brennan. So thank you guys very much. Earl Skakel over and out. I appreciate all the tippers and hit the like button and all that stuff. And if you could share the special trailer stream that I put out today, that hey, that helps just as much as a super chat. So we'll see you guys Sunday night for the OJ stream and possibly tomorrow night.